all the information about myself, the work that we'll be covering, our learning units, what we need to do, how we'll be successful in our 2 assignments and our exams. But more importantly, again, just a fantastic welcome to all of you. I know you'll be listening to the recording. There's nobody with me. I see it might be a bit early for everybody else to join, but nevertheless, we will crack on. And if need be, we'll have a session next week just to make sure everybody's aligned and that we understand what the requirements are. So without further ado, again, my name is Chris Brady. I am your module tutor for the duration of the semester. If I can help you in any way, in any shape or form, please let me know. The important other thing here is that, again, I cannot stress the excitement that I have to come and spend time with you on the Monday evenings. 2, around spending time around the content that we need to do. And also just to spend time in terms of understanding what the requirements are for us to be successful with our module. So you'll see in the chat, there is my email address over and above the one that you have with VC. You need to reach out to me. More than welcome to chat or to give us a shout and we can chat accordingly. The exciting thing is, again, what we need to do in terms of going through the slides as well, and also to align our thinking on what the requirements are over the next duration of the period. So again, apologies for the slight lag when it comes to ARC, but I will load all the information onto ARC under the announcements that we need to cover for this week, as well as the introduction part of it, and also to make us align on what the requirements are for us to be successful. The ICE task will be loaded by the time we have our session in 2 weeks' time. But what I'd like to propose is that we have a session next Monday, just to get everybody aligned on what the requirements are, because obviously people are still trying to find their feet. Without further ado, the modules in terms of this module, the learning unit that we'll be doing, will be Introduction to Human Resource Management. We'll be looking at human resource management processes. We'll look at human resource development. Then we'll look at career management, organizational management and development, as well as the requirements and laws regulating in terms of South Africa in 2025 and beyond. Those are the 6 that we'll be doing. I will be loading all the slides onto ARC as we go on our journey. I will also be loading on the recording, as in this is being recorded now for you, and we'll go through the slides. I want to just please stress for everybody that if you have any question or you're not sure of anything, please stop send me an email, as well as looking to see if there's anything that we need to align ourselves in terms of better. All slides and recording will be downloaded on ARC in terms of YouTube. So there'll be a notice on ARC that you'll be able to get all the slides, and if you need be, previous slides too, just to get a handle in terms of what the requirements are. Furthermore, I will be loading all of those within 24 hours of the completion of our online session, as well as added work that you will need to be doing on ARC in terms of going forward. Yes, we have 2 formative assessments, which is assignment 1 and assignment 2. I don't think they've been loaded yet in terms of the timeline, but it'll probably be 6 weeks from now, which is the norm. And then assignment 2, which is probably the best part of 9 weeks from now. And then the exam period will be the end of October, early November, ideally early mid-November-ish. But as we get closer to the time in terms of the national support sessions for these specific formative assessments, I'll obviously let you know by way of recording, and we'll go through the detail of how to do the assignments, as well as what to say, and most importantly, what you need to write down on your assignments per se. All right, well, obviously then we have the ICE task, which will be loaded on ARC as well. There will be 4 ICE tasks by way of a question or quiz, for want of a better word, and we'll load them on ARC under a specific file, which you will see, as well as the timetable for all our sessions, as well as into the calendar that we will have moving forward, but also in terms of what the requirements are, in terms of understanding what we need to do and where you need to find it. ARC will be our baby, for want of a better word, but the engagement part there will be to make sure that we understand what the requirements are and how we need to put them into context at every opportunity. So just to clarify, we will all obviously look at each learning unit. We then have a framework of a calendar that we will put into ARC, which I'll it only came through after 5 o'clock today, so we have access to that. So I will load on the announcements as to what we need to do and how it needs to be done going forward. All recording and slides will be on ARC as well as on the YouTube channel, which the link will be on the ARC as well as you can access that information. I actually have two, so you can actually look at both of them if need be. What else was there? Our formative assessments we've discussed. We've looked at our exam, and we will have support sessions specifically aligned to what those requirements are and how we will be doing it going forward. And that will be 1 week prior to the submission of the formative assessments as well as our exam, which we will do. But irrespective of the specific or the prescribed processes and protocols, if we have anything we need to discuss around what the requirements are and how we need to do it, obviously we will engage and we'll act upon it accordingly in terms of what they need to be done and how we will do them moving forward. Next, we will now be looking at what we need to do around how we need to put Learn Unit 1 into context. So by way of introduction, we will go through the slides, and our outputs in terms of this learning unit needs to understand basically introduction in terms of what is human resource management, what is its key enablers and key objectives. We'll look at global trends as well as look at the concept of system theory and discuss the macro environmental factors around human resource management, as well as look at it in context of having a strategic plan of what we need to do and how we need to do it. All right. Yes, I will ask if there's any questions, which is fine, but we will obviously carry on in terms of where we are and what the requirements are. All right, the slides are there. I can see they are still being shared. So the slides are on your screen. Let me just make sure we have it all there. In screen, in detail. Okay. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. All right, let's crack on with the slides. Again, by way of where we are, human resource management, what is it? What is this an entity? It is in front of you. In terms of what this entails, again, what it entails, it is all about the growth of people as in togetherness. We look at identifying teamwork. We look at the vision in terms of a partner or partnerships, how we engage and how we proactively better the set of skills and skill sets required by people to be successful in their job, but also related and aligned to the organizational goals and expectations by way of promotions, growth in people, but also the allocation of the resource of humans to deliver the goals and expectations of said organization. But they can also include things like departments, divisions, branches, different. One has a specific provider or overrider to engage in terms of what the human resource capacity is and how you put it into context. Just by way of introduction, human resource management, what is it in essence? All right, it is around recruitment, hiring, compensation, training, evaluation, and benefits. But encapsulated into that is the overriding understanding that we, in terms of human resource practitioners, identify from a planning point of view what each one does and how it enables, or what the requirements are and what we need to do from an understanding point of view, and also to align our thinking and our processes. Vital, important. All right. What is human resource management in context? In general, HRM is a management function concerned with the hiring, training, motivating, developing, maintaining a workforce in an organization. Human resource management ensures satisfaction of employees so as to get maximum contribution of employees for the achievement of organizational objectives. These functions of human resource management are to improve the value of leadership potential, top talent, employee retention rates, company goals, and the goals of the company's long-term manageability at a higher maturity level than the one that is currently in place or prescribed in a strategic plan. What is the basic essence of human resource management? It is, in essence, the recruitment, selection, performance management, learning and development, succession planning, compensation and benefits, human resource information systems, and HR data and analytics are considered cornerstones of effective HRM. The key takeaways are: HR is the division of a business responsible for finding, recruiting, screening, training job applicants. Human resource departments also handle employee compensation, benefits, and terminations. The definitions of HRM, quite simply, It is the function of facilitating, is in facilitation, the most effective use of people to achieve both organizational and individual goals. HRM is that field of management which deals with the planning, organizing, controlling, and the functions of procuring, developing, maintaining, and utilizing a labor force such that organizational and individual goals are fulfilled. Here, the one takeaway here I want you to please make sure of in terms of that is the field of management. It is not excluded or part thereof. It is the field of management that underlines how we put it into context as well as understanding. Vital, vital, vital. All right. The important takeaway here is that one needs to understand what each mindset is and how we understand from a human resource point of view what the expectations are. What is human resource management as an introductory level, as mentioned? Okay, good. Quite simply here, I want you to take away. It is designed to maximize employee performance in the service of the employee's strategic objectives. Again, it is designed to maximize employee performance in the service of an employee's strategic objectives. Functions are, there are many, but here just to name but a few. The 7 HR basics are recruitment and selection, performance management, learning and development, succession planning, compensation and benefits, human resource information systems, HR data, and analytics. Having said that, what are the objectives of HRM? Okay, they are workforce management, staffing, training and development, payroll management, employee satisfaction, diversity and inclusion, and compliance, to name but a few. Okay, here I want you just to clarify that is a definition. This is what the functions are, but these are the objectives of human resource management at a holistic, but also it can be drilled down to a detailed level of understanding. What is human resource management and its importance? It can be defined as the effective management of people in an organization. HR management helps bridge the gap between the employee's performance and the organization's strategic objectives. Moreover, an efficient HR management team can give firm an edge over their competition by the effective utilization of people as a required asset. And I put it in parlance of wording, it is in essence the maximization of the resource of humans to achieve the organization at a holistic level, but also at a micro level to achieve said objectives. In simple words, HR is the division of a business that is charged with finding, screening, recruiting, training job applicants, and administering employee benefit programs. George Mayer said, the father of human resource management and his Hawthorne studies. He is the father, and he said quite simply, human resource management is a division of a business that is charged with finding, screening, recruiting, training job applicants, and administering employee benefit programs. Next, what is the main purpose? As you just mentioned, understand each role that HR plays in the workplace today. Again, understand each role that HR plays in the workplace today. We've discussed the role, we've discussed the main objectives. In summary, what is an HR department? In simple terms, the HR resources department is a group who is responsible for managing the employee life cycle, recruiting, hiring, onboarding, training, and firing of employees, noted, and administering employees' benefits. Quite simply put. In that context, human resource management is a multitude or a myriad of different functions and functions within a required ambit of said organization. They are, but to name a few: workplace culture, motivation and incentives, recruitment, retention, contracts of employment, job descriptions, personnel specifications, health and safety in the workplace, teams, functions, accountability and authority, disciplinary procedures, and absenteeism, but to name a few. But here, in terms of what we spoke about in terms of objectives, these objectives of what the requirement of the human resource department is, as noted over here. Here gives you the realm of what within the realm of human resource management to achieve these objectives. These will be the key enablers or the cornerstone of any organization, what the requirements are and how to achieve it and what the requirements are expected. What is HRM as an example? It is defined as the process of managing employees in a company, and it can involve hiring, firing, training, and motivating employees. An example of human resource management is the way in which a company hires new employees and trains these new workers. Why is it important to manage resources? Effectively managing resources helps companies more consistently deliver projects and services on time. This is because better resource management helps improve insight into resource availability, as well as improves timeline projections. What is the role of the HR manager? His or her role is to support the business to deliver people-related processes, vision, strategy across the company, aligned with the law. In terms of human resource law, the law prescribes that all HR managers will prescribe to, in context of understanding, is the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, which will cover all these on our road ahead. But just to give you some understanding, is one, the Basic Conditions of Employment Act of South Africa, the Labour Relations Act, the Occupational Health and Safety Act of South Africa, as well as the Skills Development Levy Act of South Africa, to name the 4 key drivers when it comes to the role of an HR manager in ambit of the law. HR managers also support other colleagues within the business to resolve challenges, issues related to the employment and dismissal of staff. Objectives, as mentioned previously, but just to give you further context: societal objectives, functional objectives, organizational objectives, and personal objectives that are required to deliver and achieve these set goals and objectives of an organization in the human resource space. Next up, what are the 2 major types of human resource management? They are business-centered and strategic focus HR leader. Types of human resource are operational, and the second one is your core HR strategy, which includes payroll, time and attendance, workplace management, employee communications, benefits of administration, human resources, information systems, but to name a few. Okay, what are the 4 domains of human resource management? There are several, but let's cover the 4 in terms of essences: people, organization, workplace, and strategy. Can be divided into numerous HR functional areas. What are the domains? They're there in front of you, okay? But this focuses on a number of areas, including understanding of recruitment, staffing, compensation, benefits, labor relations in terms of understanding what the requirements are, employee relations, and organizational development. Having said that, what are the 6 major functions? We've discussed that. But here I want you just to take a different context in terms of what are the pillars of HR. The pillars of HR in essence are performance orientation, alignment of HR processes, first and foremost with the company's business and strategic objectives, effective talent management, understand how one puts the talent management into context of understanding, and your cultural drivers and expectations of how you need to put them into context and what needs to be done. I reiterate, what needs to be done and how you get them into a proper focus of understanding. Next up, when one looks at the key enablers of what you're driving at in terms of understanding, one will identify what is the scope of HR. And the scope of HR covers many things. Now remember, this is different to your objectives as well as your goals that your requirements are. But your scope within HR is employee hiring, an example, industrial relations, remuneration, employee motivation, prospects of employees, and employee maintenance. And there are numerous in HR scope of HRM. But here we need to understand how we put it into context and what those requirements are in ensuring we are at the forefront or the cutting edge of human resource management in South Africa, but also the globe as an extension. Okay, HR activity, we cover that. Here I want you just to highlight what makes HR successful. What makes HR successful? Successful HR departments prioritize consistent payroll practices and make sure that all benefits are working for the employees. The most effective HR departments understand the role that company culture, employee development, and career opportunities play in employee engagement and retention. Again, employee engagement and retention. Over here, looking at the global trends of HR, Global trends in HR management are heavily influenced by technology, as we all know, globalization, and evolving employee expectations. Key trends include the rise of AR and HR processes. Wow, is ever evolving. The increasing importance of employee well-being, the shift towards hybrid work models, and a greater focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Organizations are also prioritizing upskilling and reskilling initiatives, data-driven HR practices, and enhanced employee experience. What are the global trends in HR? AI especially gained momentum in the HR landscape. Most HR leaders already use some form of AI in their daily practices. 92% of HR professionals even plan on working more with AI. This trend will even grow even stronger as AI proves to prove its value in transforming HR. What is an example of a trend in HR management? Artificial intelligence and machine learning is a trend in HR management is the increasing importance of artificial intelligence and machine learning. One of the biggest advantages of AI technology is the ability to streamline the application process. The essential HR trends in the world that we live in today, they are the rise of artificial intelligence, as already mentioned, the future of learning and development. How is it? Who will do it? How is it going to evolve? Will it be driven by AI and robotics or by humans? Addressing the needs of the hybrid workforce, working from home, working in your workstation in the office or in the premises of the organization, or doing both, or doing one on its own, which can be aligned to the achievement of the goals of said organization. Workplace digitalization, is that coming? Robotics, what role will it play in organizations of how they do things and what they do? Will it foster, will it develop? Fostering diversity, equity, and inclusion. DEI, will it evolve? Is it evolving? Is it relevant? Is it applicable? What will the future be? How does one foster diversity? What is diversity? So all these questions are ever enabling all the time, and what we need to do and how we put it into a context of understanding. Data-driven HR and people analytics. Data-driven HR and people analytics. One needs to understand what these requirements are and how we get to manifest our understanding of what the requirements are and what needs to be done. Next up, what is global HR management? Global HR management shares many similarities with traditional HR, but focuses on managing workforces in multiple countries to meet organizational goals. It adapts existing HR responsibilities and practices to align with varied legal, economic, cultural environments while ensuring continuity across borders. What are the global factors that are influencing human resource management? They are international recruitment, identifying and attracting talent from different countries, while considering extra factors such as language skills, cultural fit, and legal requirements. What are the three trends of globalization? In addition, the UN identified three mega trends related to globalization. Shifts in production, labor markets. What is the future of labor markets? Rapid advances in tech and climate change. They'll all play a massive, massive role. But what else can we do with the trends into where we are and what those are requirements? What is the global perspective of HR? Global HR is how international employees manage geographic, linguistic, and cultural differences amongst their workforce to achieve maximum productivity and engagement. Its primary responsibilities include recruiting suitably skilled employees, notably. The future trends of human resource management in no specific order. Leadership modernization. What is the modern leader today or by the year 2030? Improvisation of employee life and benefits. What are those benefits? Will it be the traditional benefits or will it change? Absolutely, it's going to change. Focused recruitment. How will one find recruitment in terms of jobs? What are the jobs? The jobs of today will be no more. The jobs of the future have not been thought of or developed yet. But what does one need to do? Data analytics for overall growth of the company. How will companies evolve and how will they grow? What will they do? Will they drive continuous traditional mindsets? Will those mindsets be different to what it is today and the future? Promoting the learning and networking in the company. It is humans. Will we need sufficient humans or will we need humans at all to understand what those requirements are? And how we will put them into context of understanding. How will it be done? What do we need to do? Will it be relevant? Will it be applicable? What does one need to do? So all of these questions will be a massive, massive impact of human resource management in terms of the global planning of the future, as well as how it will be done and actioned upon in the future. What are the five main functions of global human resource management? Okay, they're there in front of you. But here I want you to take away is that the local human resources roles. What will it be and how will it be drilled into the system, okay, of functionality of global human resource management? What is the global human resource management system? The Global Human Resource Information System is a digital platform that manages HR processes and employee data across multiple countries, ensuring consistency and compliance with local regulations. What is a major challenge faced by global HR professionals? International HR teams contend with legal compliance, time zone challenges, cultural differences, etc. But here, in terms of what is the difference between the HR and global HR, the difference is that whilst global HR management and international HR focus on all aspects of HR administration for multiple companies across numerous industries, HR focuses on all aspects related to managing human resources in a local or domestic context. All right. What are the trends? Okay, they're there in front of you. All right. But again, the clear enablers are, right, what they are over here. And the reason why I put this slide in is you can actually see, okay, the level of detail around looking at, for example, HR needs to balance strategic planning, execution to ensure well implemented policies driven success. Shifting focus from reliance to anti-fragility in terms of helping employees grow stronger through challenges. AP and IP. Shaping decent working conditions, fair pay, purpose through implementing employee feedback, to name but a few. But we would have discussed these all in detail, but I think the important thing here is to go through each one and understand what each requirement is, what you're looking at, and how they need to be driven. And I think to make it easier for everybody, that should help around how we'll put it into context. Okay. Last slide, in terms of solutions from a leadership point of view, in terms of HR, looking at your strategic planning, your hiring, recruiting strategies, your situational analysis, 360 feedback, organizational surveys, leadership development, sales, marketing development, and succession planning, to name but a few. Obviously, in terms of if there was a group online, we would have gone through a lot more detail, but I want you to take away the importance of learning unit number 1, what it involves, as I've already mentioned to you, is just for everybody's clarification, just to go back, make sure everybody knows what we're aligned to, okay? When it comes to learning unit 1, in terms of HR management, what is it? In terms of defined, what are the macro environmental factors, okay? And understand what they are in detail in terms of an introduction to HR. Okay, as I mentioned, apologies for not having it on in terms of ARC already. I'll get that done in the next 24 hours and send that communications and announcements that you'll all see it and access to it. If there are any questions and you want to get hold of me, obviously you get access to the email. I also noted on the chat that my email address on the Gmail account is there for you to have a look at. What else is there? The slides are here. Those slides will be uploaded onto ARC, as well as the recording will be on the recording will be loaded onto the YouTube channel, as well as I will put it onto ARC in the next 24 hours to make sure that you understand what the requirements are. I would also like to set a session up next week because of nobody attending, and just to get every sense of comfort for everybody and what we need to do moving forward. All right, if there are any questions, that's all I have for this evening. Please reach out to me in terms of email or on ARC, and I will gladly help where I can, but I'll set it all up for you probably during the day tomorrow, by the latest on Wednesday, so we can drive what the requirements are moving forward. All right, thanks for your time, everybody. Have a good evening, and I look forward to speaking to you in person in the next weeks ahead. All right, have a good evening, everybody. Look after yourselves and chat soon. Take care. Bye-bye.